woman faces when she is alone on the streets of Delhi at night. And I just wanted to go through it myself in order to really ascertain what is the fact of the matter, and all these tall claims that we hear all governments making about how secure Delhi is becoming. I just wanted to experience it firsthand for myself. And I was standing at Ames bus stop, just opposite on the road opposite to Ames bus stop, and I saw that cars after cars were stopping. Some made weird gestures, some wanted me to sit in the car, some were just stopping by and in a predatory manner just looking at me and waiting and probably just wanting to attack and just go away. There were certain cars who just stopped like even for 20 minutes with their headlights on right at me, just waiting to probably pounce. And then this car comes up, which was a white Baleno, and it just the driver stops right next to me and he asks me whether he can drop me somewhere. And when I say that I don't want his help, my relatives are coming, he keeps pestering, he keeps forcing me, and then in anger he drives off, only to come back again to the same spot where I was standing after 10 minutes, and this time with full force he was pestering, he was going on saying that why don't you come, I'll drop you, I'll drop you. And then on top of it, when I reject his advances, he starts making extremely vulgar and lewd gestures at me. When I try and catch hold of him, my hand got stuck in the car because he rolled up the window immediately, and despite knowing the fact that my hand was right near him in the car, he decides to just push the accelerator at full speed, and the car went forward and I was dragged for several meters and I was screaming at the top of my lungs. My team was also there because I was out on an inspection. They ran, and then when this man realized that okay, there are other people also there with this woman and she's not alone, he decides to free me and just run away. And the first thought that happened to me in that moment, I just stood there and I really felt that, my God, I got saved because I could have been another Anjali. And exactly this had happened to her, and this probably would have happened to me. And by the grace of God, I got saved.
Now, Swati, a lot of our viewers who are watching this and, through the day as they've seen your story here, they also want to know what time this was. Did you try to raise an alarm? Was any PCR spotted? Because usually, like I said, Swati, what's extremely important about this location and what's even worse then is that this is a nicely lit road. It's a very broad road. It's very well lit. There is, considerable amount of traffic that you actually see on these roads. There are people who keep going up and down. And, as far as I know, I've seen good amount of police presence. But how is it that yesterday night, there was no PCR, there were no guards anywhere around, Swati?
So it was 3 a.m., around 3 a.m. and there was absolutely no PCR. I was standing there for a good 15 to 20 minutes. There was no PCR. And on top of it, I just want to understand, how is it that these men are able to get completely drunk and drink and drive on the streets and roads of Delhi? This was the main road.
Drive, yes.
Was there no picket before where he could have been cross-checked? How is it that that is happening? That's exactly what happened with Anjali, because when this man was finally caught by the police and I was asked to identify him, he said that yes, I am drunk when I asked him, because he was reeking of alcohol, and we saw in his car how a glass was put in which there was still alcohol, there were bottles, there were all kinds of eating materials. He was having a party and nobody ever stopped him. So the big question is that how is it that these men are able to get so drunk and just drive on the streets of Delhi? There was no PCR until I made the call. So first when I made the call, the 112 number, for 2 times it got disconnected. My immediate thought was, what if a woman doesn't have a second chance? How can the 112 number get disconnected? So first was that. Then after that, the 112 number, when I called again, but before I called, there was a Garud vehicle of the Delhi police which passed by, and that gentleman helped me. I introduced myself and I told him my position, and immediately help was provided, and then a lot of officers, DCP, ACP, everybody came in because the Delhi Commission for Women chief was involved. But the first question, and the lingering question that was occurring in my mind was, what would have happened if it was not the DCW chief? Because